Vaughn, I'm starting a recording in a minute. Be quiet. What? Hi, welcome to today's session. We will get started in about a minute once we get people out of the weight room. Okay, thank you for joining today. We're going to go ahead and dive in and get started. Today's session is about how you, no matter where you are in your career today, from young professional to later on, there are 5 keys to really master to have a very successful career. And I'm going to talk you through what those keys are, what those 5 keys are, and what you can do to develop those skills and have a few takeaways from today's session. So maybe you're here today because you're feeling stuck, you're not unclear of where you're going, you're really frustrated in your career, and what we're going to talk about today is how to get you out of those feelings. You're not alone. A lot of people are just really frustrated with the state of the economy and jobs and how to find jobs and how to, really define success for themselves. So we're going to dive in and talk about 5 keys for success in your career. We're going to start with self-awareness, then dive into how to promote yourself, being visible, how do you measure your progress, building your social capital, and then lastly, having an ongoing curiosity in life. Before I go further, if I haven't visited with you before, my name's Jaime Chambron. I am a career coach and resume writer, and I accelerate career advancement by aiding busy professionals in positioning their value and impact to stand out. I support them in becoming clear, concise, and confident in answering why me, online, on paper, and in person. I'll show these links again towards the end of our time together today, but you're welcome to follow and connect with me on LinkedIn and also sign up for my mailing list on my Career Agility System website. So let's dive into the 5 keys. First and foremost, we really need to become self-aware of who we are, what we're great at, why people want to hire us. This is a skill that we really need to build that muscle over time. What you may need to do is a few different activities to really hone in and become more and more self-aware. One is taking every so many years a self-assessment. Most of my clients use is strength finders, where it will help you understand what are the top strengths you have for you to continue to lean into in your career. You do, as you evolve, your skills and your strengths will evolve based on the experiences you put yourself into, based on the training and the education you take. And so it's really important to self-reflect to gain the awareness of where are you really adding value in your career. This may also entail writing down, you might need it if you don't have a habit of doing this every week or every month. Reflect on accomplishments over the last year. Reflect on new things you learn. Reflect on progress you made. The more and more you can hone in on really understanding the value you are bringing to an organization or to a client or to someone you're working with, to colleagues, it could be internal value, external value, that is going to help you go further in your career over time, because you're able to really understand what it is that makes you unique and different from others, and that you can continue to strengthen where you excel, and to focus on the opportunities that will help you thrive in the areas you excel in. Now, you may not be certain on what this is today, and so you've got to start somewhere. That's why I say taking an assessment. High Fives is similar strengthology. There's DISC. There's a number of different others. Career Fitter, especially if you're thinking about maybe you're not in the right career. A lot of these will give you insights into career options that are leaning you into your strengths. And so it's really important to master self-awareness and reflection to keep you really honed in on doing the things you're great at and love to do. Okay, so second, in today's marketplace, finding jobs, finding opportunities is not like what it was even just a few years ago. And we're at a point where you have to see yourself as a product and get used to marketing and selling you. You've to gain visibility, both internally and externally. So that means you've got to do things like create a personal brand. And that will then, that's helping articulate, once you do that self-awareness activity, you've honed in on your strengths, unique experience, value you've delivered. You use all of those pieces to develop your personal brand that then is integrated into your resume and the story you tell via your resume. It's how you present yourself on LinkedIn and the story and the narrative you present on LinkedIn. It's really important you get used to how to promote yourself in today's times, both in person, in the office, and also socially and online and on paper. And it's just something, if you've not had to redo your resume in a few years, if you've never had to have a resume, if you don't have a stellar LinkedIn profile, these are the things you've really got to keep up to date and figure out how to do that. So it's important to know that you are the only person who can sell you, and to make sure you master how to do this in the times to go. This is another key to your success. Next, this is really important, especially for high achievers, very ambitious professionals, is how you measure your progress is measuring you. You don't measure yourself against others. You don't measure yourself against future goals and aspirations, but you look backwards. Where have you been and what have you accomplished over the last few years, the last few months? How did you get from where you were 5 years ago to where you are today? Always look to measure your past and to help you further understand all the great things you've accomplished to keep you going and moving forward, so that 3 months from now, you look back and go, look at all the great things I've accomplished over these last few months. So measure you and measure your past to help you continue to grow in your trajectory. So a great business leader who's written a number of books is Dan Sullivan, and he's very big on measuring your own progress. Don't compare yourself. Don't measure yourself against others or ideals. Don't focus on what you lack, because you're going to lose what you have. Focus on what you have. focus on what you've achieved to keep you moving forward. Another key to success today is honing in on and developing your social capital, really investing in and building your network, getting out there and going to events, meeting people, having coffees to strengthen relationships, connecting with people online. Stats still, if you're in a job search, you're 14 times more likely to get an interview with someone referring you in, and 40% of jobs today are filled by internal referrals. These stats have been pretty consistent for the last few years. So back to that whole getting comfortable promoting yourself, getting out there, gaining that visibility you need internally and externally by building relationships. So you've really got to spend the time to develop relationships and finding opportunities to get yourself out there in front of others to be successful. So again, social capital is about not just your network, but is there a two-way street in how you would help others and they would help you, resources, referrals, recommendations, or they'll give you a recommendation on your LinkedIn profile. Those are the things that are really important. And again, the stats are, jobs are filled via networking. People hear about jobs through people. So if you're not comfortable networking, some things to consider is, buddying up with someone who's more outgoing and getting to professional events in your community, finding meetups online, going into, and especially finding meetups and organizations that are in your industry or in your functional area, like tech or HR organizations or financial services organizations are really important to hone in on building that that momentum. And so like if you go back to the whole marketing and selling you've got to hone in on making sure you know what your one-liner is, your personal brand promise, the what you do for who and the value you provide, so that when you start to get out there and network, you use something to open the door and start the conversation so that people will remember you, have something memorable when you start to get out there and network and promote yourself. So that's another important thing to do. Lastly, you've got to be curious about everything, ask questions, continually learn. If you've got goals in mind of what you want to do in your career, assess what gaps do you have in terms of experience, training you need, and start to build a plan on how can you consume that knowledge. Partner with your current boss or mentor on recommendations of training or things that your company may invest in to help you get to that more senior level to make a pivot into a new function or industry. But you've got to be curious, because all people are looking for are professionals who are willing to be adaptable no matter where you are in your career. We should never stop growing our intellect. It's super important that you have, as part of your goals every year, what new things are you learning to put in place. So I'll recap the 5 keys to your success in your career, but as we start to talk a little bit more and close on these 5 areas, is what are you going to start to do differently? From those 5 keys, is there one in particular you really need to work on to get yourself moving forward in your career? So again, self-awareness. Some to-dos you can do there is take an assessment to help you better understand your strengths and potential careers that you align to. Strength Finders, High Five, Career Fitter, DISC are all great assessments to look at. Second, you've got to get comfortable promoting yourself. So if you haven't updated your resume or your LinkedIn profile in a while, take it upon you to start to, as you self-reflect on your accomplishments, your strengths, the transferable skills, what you're bringing to the table, work on building a new resume, work on optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Get what I call that personal brand promise, the what I do for whom and the value I provide locked in, so that you can use that as part of your networking strategy as well. So be sure to Really hone in on your brand promise, because you've got to get used to and comfortable marketing and selling you. You've got to think of yourself as a service to others to be able to do that. We've got to be able to measure our own progress. So some to-dos here is maybe you need to set some goals for yourself. I want to, in the next 90 days, learn something new. I want to find, 5 new people to network with that are in companies I'm interested in. It's important, and then also take your goals that you've had in your career and reflect back over the last few years. What have you gained and achieved in terms of new skills, new experiences, new relationships, things you've delivered? Have you financially grown as well? What are the things that you can measure yourself on that demonstrates your success? Fourth, we've got to be constantly networking and growing our social capital to keep us in the forefront, again, back to marketing and selling you. So look at new places to go to network with new people. Start to have coffees with people you haven't met with in a while. I like to say you should probably have 10 to 15 fans, friends, and followers who would do whatever you ask of them that's going to be important to where you're going next in your career. So make sure you're not just creating new relationships, but having some goals in mind of nurturing key relationships, nurturing more senior professionals who could be mentors for you in helping you move forward in your career. Lastly, always be curious. And so think about what new skills do you need, or what's missing, what's the gap that's holding you back from where you want to go next in your career. So back to that self-assessment and knowing where you've got some gaps or weaknesses, and finding either education or experiences to keep learning and growing and be adaptable in where you need to go. And so I'll just pause here a minute, because one of the things I want you to do is think about what are the 1 to 3 things you're going to do in the next 90 days to get you back on track to where you want to be and having a successful and a fulfilling career. You're here for a reason, because you're not feeling like you're successful. And so you need to think about what 1, 2, or 3 things you're going to really lock in on. Maybe one in the first 30 days, 1 in 60, 1 in 90. That's going to help you get back on track, what I like to say, regain control of your career to make forward progress. So I'll pause there so you can jot down some additional thoughts and actions you can take to move yourself forward. As you think about where you've been, where you're going, you're going to be success. You're going to be great. What's next for you. Manifest your success. Talk about it as you're getting out there and networking. Socialize where you're going next in your career. What is it you want to do? What are your aspirations in your career? Envision it. Again, meet new people. Hear what they're looking for. Hear what their career goals are as you're beginning to build and grow your network and your social capital. But just always be mentally thinking about it, talking about it, feeling it, to get you moving forward, as more and more opportunities will then present itself as you go forward. So as we're closing out, there's a number of ways I help people make career breakthroughs and get to really taking back control of having a successful career. So, from the far left, I do work on personal branding, where I help you in telling your story and creating the narrative that we then use in rebuilding your resume and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. I do offer full career guidance, where I help with job search strategy and being more hands-on in how to be creative in finding opportunities today, marketing and selling you, coaching, interview preparations. So it's more of an end-to-end service. Sometimes they're called reverse recruiters today, or modern day outplacement that we offer. From there, I do coaching on growing your leadership capabilities and executive presence. If you're looking to gain missing capabilities in communication, strategy, presentations to get you to the next level in your career. And then lastly, I help with you becoming as a differentiator, being seen as a thought leader on social platforms like LinkedIn, and how to go about building a thought leadership program and campaign to get your thoughts, your perspectives out there. So these are the things I offer to help my clients, and my goals, and just helping you gain clarity on where you are and where you're going. Accelerate, if you're making a career move or change, accelerate the time to get there, getting you in the right mindset, having a strategic plan and roadmap. That's been used over and over again with my clients. I've worked with over hundreds of clients over 8 years now in helping them make progress in their careers, negotiating your worth, and then making sure we're telling your story in a clear and compelling way to start to get interviews and landing new opportunities. Again, make sure, reflect on all the different keys we talked about today, and if anything, pick one thing you can do differently in your daily routine to help you break free and get to this next place. Again, Jaime Chambron, a career coach, resume writer, storyteller. Again, follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. You're welcome to sign up for my mailing list at careeragilitysystem.com, and I do have times through today and tomorrow and next week if you're wanting to visit one-on-one to get further guidance or counseling, or wanting to learn more on specifics on how I can be of service to you. I'm going to leave this up for another minute. If you enjoyed today, would love to get a thumbs up or a heart. You can follow me on Eventbrite. I do weekly webinars on different topics that you can learn more in what's current, what's happening in career development, job search, etc. So again, thank you for joining today. Look forward to visiting with you in the future.